the last witch hunter. Just joking. It's actually Kirito's sword. This is not Sword Art Online review. This is the last Witcher review. What's going on out there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. I'm back here for a brand new movie review. And as you can kind of see via the sword and my lack of lighting, I'm here to give y'all a first-rate review. I was able to be blessed with basically a screener for this new movie starring Vin Diesel. Networker cast such as Michael Caine, Elijah Wood, what was the girl's name from Game of Thrones? Rose Leslie, and also there's another person I actually love from the show of The Misfits, even though it kind of went downhill for a certain point, but that was one of the big shows I love on Hulu. But I digress. What was the last Witch Hunter to me? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it ugly? Or was it somewhere in between? Well, I'll say this. When I first went into the movie, I literally had low expectations. Me and friend Lucas, shout out to Lucas. He's part of the big group that we do a lot of network chat about different movies, whether it's Marvel or comic book related. And I went into really low expectations. And I actually went out of it not hating the movie, but I will pick apart a lot of different things where they've missed their mark on this movie, and I'll be quite honest with that. So, how is the set? Like, as far as the visual effects, as far as the scope of the film. When I first looked at the beginning of the film, it looked like it was taking place in Greenland or Iceland. Like, it looked like it was really far distance. I was thinking to myself, man, this is like on a scope level of something like Game of Thrones or like Lord of the Rings. And I mean, one of the first things I see is this huge tree, and it shows like this hive, literally a hive full of like witches. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, wow, okay, these are all, you know, witch hunters. And like Vin Diesel, he's got this long gored out beard that looks so fake, and long gored out hair, you know. But at the same exact time, him as a unit and working with his group, I was like, wow, this is pretty compelling. But when they actually started really going up against the witches and the warlocks, I was like, man, how are they really gonna win? You know, and that's kind of like my first impressions of it. But then at a certain point, I started to realize certain things. Notably, the witch, the main queen witch. She's one of the most dangerous things in this movie. But the way that she interacts, like such as like you see like vines and certain things, like seem like they're looping around people and like hurting them. When she was interacting with people, like she just scratched somebody, like they just started convulsing and almost dying. When she started like, you know, having something wound up, and I'm sitting there watching them getting sucked in, I was like, wow, this could be a really gory movie. Then at a certain point I realized this is a PG-13 film. So if they just cut and slice one of these things, they just poofed into nothing. So fire is one of the biggest things that are hindrance to, I guess, these witches. As far as even with the magic implementation of how they do it, y'all know, like I believe in God. I was sitting there in the theater, I was like, man, I'm going to have to rebuke a lot of things in this movie, which I did. But the thing is, this is not, how do I put it? This is really light. This isn't like your R-rated, like heavy wizardry and witch stuff, which I'm fine with that, and I like that, and that can actually appeal to a better audience. But the movie, to me, when I looked at whatever I did look at, and I didn't look at many trailers of it, I was thinking to myself that this is going to be something that's potentially a horror film or scary. And that is not what they actually delivered to me, to be quite honest with you. Like, it was more so like an action sci-fi kind of feel to it, more so than anything scary or any feeling of relevance that danger was there, like for any of the cast. And that was one of the things I felt like they fell on. Now, but were the visual effects okay? There are certain points, yes. But most of the action sequences with Vin Diesel when he's actually got his sword, which to me were like the big set piece. I was like thinking, I was like, man, if they do anything close to like Riddick or Chronicles of Riddick, as far as like, you know, having Vin Diesel with an actual weapon, I was like, man, this could be really awesome. Now, when he pulls the sword out, it looks cool, but then when he's actually interacting stuff and facing off against the wizards or the witches and stuff like that, like it's basically, the best thing I can compare it to is Batman Begins. When Batman shows up, like there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of stuff going on, but you don't really see it. All it is just back and forth kind of banter, and you know how physical Vin Diesel can be. You know he can carry himself pretty well on screen, off screen, And they don't really utilize that when he's actually in the big fight sequences. There are times in the beginning of it, there's more action there with him and the wizard than actually towards the very end, the climax. And even like certain parts in the middle that I was like, okay, wow, this is a good tussle, but there's not a lot of action heavy moments in this movie. There's a lot of cool moments. There's a lot of moments I'm thinking, man, this is supernatural, or this is like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's kind of how I felt at certain things, the supernatural elements. And there was a quirkiness and the funniness to it, the first and the second act. But that regresses in a certain point. But either way, what I think about the visual effects, there were some cheesy moments, there were some cool moments. I kind of give it a 50-50, a 5 out of 10, if that. Score was okay, wasn't anything big. How did I think about the acting? The acting in this one, I didn't... I felt like the acting was underused, given the people that were in it. And I'm not saying it was like a Blade 3 where you got a whole great cast and yet you underuse everybody. I'm saying that Michael Caine did an okay job. Vin Diesel carried the movie and himself, but it was like he didn't fit this role. Like, he can do the role, he carried the role. It is almost like he was above this role. In certain moments, I was thinking to myself, I was like, this would have been better suited for Jason Statham. Jason Statham would have been better suited for this. Now, that would have pushed the movie to maybe an F or a D in my opinion. But I feel like at a certain point, it's like, man, like, him lining up with even the other actors, like, there were scenes where him and Michael Caine and him with, like, Elijah Wood. I was like, what is he doing interacting with these other actors? Like, yes, he's a great actor. Vin Diesel can act. I know he can. He's more than just an acting star. But it was like, for this role, I was like, these characters, I don't know, it just didn't fit. It was the moments it really felt like it just didn't fit. And like his approach and his physicality, his torturedness, I don't call it bland. I call it him acting the role that he was given. But there are subtle moments where he kind of interacts with Rose Leslie, her character. I thought that those moments were okay, but the thing that I didn't like is that a lot of people have told me that Elijah Wood and him, they were the ones that would be partners more so than anybody, and they weren't in that many scenes together. You find out after the second act that this is all a facade. This is technically a lie. That they are not the ones that are partnering up. It's really the person by the name of Chloe that's playing by Rose Leslie's character. And as well as, like, Vin Diesel has a closer relationship with Michael Caine's character than he does with even Frodo Baggins himself. So I was like, that, I don't know, I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. If y'all want me to do a spoiler review, please let me know in the comment section below before I continue. Because I'm going to talk about Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood in this movie, I thought to myself, okay, you know, this man can act. I've seen him in some stuff. This boy can seriously act. And I felt like he was underused. He was so underused. And at the same exact time, this is all supposed to be a setup for a sequel. Well, I don't know that Elijah Wood's going to be in it because of the way they utilize his character. Like, they did something that surprised me with his character. But yet, at the same exact time, they completely underused him in every facet. Like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, wow, it's going to go this way with this character, but then make him bigger. Make him a more weightier character. And what they do? They just crash him and burn him, basically. That's the best way I can kind of describe what they did to his character. Because his character was basically, like, his character was supposed to be taking up the mantle of being, you know, this connection to Vin Diesel's character. And basically, he was a keeper of the immortal witch hunter. And Kaulder, or Vin Diesel's character in this movie, as far as the story is concerned, he's tortured. But at the same exact time, him fighting off, like, witches and taking them out and killing them, you see it over 800 years that it's kind of played a role on his psychosis. Like, he's become a lot more passive, more than I would think. Like, it's almost kind of like Vandal Savage, essentially. Like, at a certain point, you're not trying to be a conqueror, you're not trying to win, you're just, you know, going through the motions. And the only person that really gets him is Michael Caine's character, which I do appreciate their relationship. It's just, when I think about the story, and where it goes from the first part. Like the first part with him, you know, realizing like who he is, and at this point in his life, like something is detrimental has happened to one of the people that he actually does care about still in this world. And at the same time, he's a loner. Like he tries to keep himself to himself. And then he starts kind of going off on a mystery rant. Like when that actually starts happening, you find out it's more like a murder mystery kind of thing, and he's trying to figure out what happened, and the supernatural stuff and the elements start coming in when he starts interacting with different people. It's kind of like Constantine mixed with like supernatural Buffy the Vampire Slayer, essentially. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just there are certain times where it becomes really cheesy. It becomes really tiresome. Like, there was moments I was kind of yawning in the theater. I was kind of like, let it run out. Some people were in the theaters like, man, this is a crappy movie. I don't necessarily say it was a crappy movie because I did enjoy parts of it. The first part, I kind of enjoyed the thought where it was going to go. The second part, it was okay. But it was like by the third act, I feel like they just crapped all on it because they try to position it for a sequel. In addition to that, they underused Elijah Wood's character, and you realize that the most powerful being here is somebody that shouldn't be. Like, it should be, give me an image of what a real threat would look like, and then put that in the realm of what's going on with the character, because towards the end it just becomes so cliche what they do with Vin Diesel's character, what they do with his relationship with Rose Leslie's character, because it becomes not even a love triangle, because I'll admit y'all this spoiler. Vin Diesel doesn't kiss anybody. And nor do you actually see him, you know, do anything with anybody. It's alluded to that he does. And I thought that was a cop-out. I was like, what the heck is this, you know? Why even have there be a love relationship? Like, let it be like them being relatives or something like that. But anyway, I digress. I think they dropped the ball on that from a story standpoint, from a writing standpoint. I don't know if this actually comes from a book or if this comes from a comic. I don't know enough about it because I didn't even look at any trailers. I was fresh looking at this. Even when I went to New York Comic Con, I didn't look at any footage. Only thing I heard was just Vin Diesel talking about, you know, how this movie helped him come out of his rut of like Paul Walker dying, and it really helped him progressively. And I think probably notable that's a nudge to his relationship with Michael Caine in this movie. Was this a bad movie? Not necessarily. Was this a good movie? Not necessarily. I have to give this movie C-. I won't give it a number review because I feel like it would be really low. I'm not telling people that I'd recommend them go see it, but if you're looking for something like just to ease your pain, or I know that sounds so bad. If you're looking for something that's kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, supernatural, with wizards and witches and supernatural elements, you're going to really enjoy the first half of this from a sci-fi standpoint. But if you're looking for something horror or something gritty and dark and gory, this is not that movie. This movie is not gory, it's not dark, it's not scary. It's entertaining at moments, but it's very cliche and very cheesy at moments. And that's the most honest way I can kind of put this movie. So unfortunately, I give it a C-. Hopefully you enjoyed my review. I was hoping for a lot more, but either way, I digress. I gotta give y'all my 100% perspective on it. If you would like a spoiler-filled review, I can give that to y'all and lay out all the secrets of this movie. But hopefully you enjoyed my review. This is SCL0320 representing JVS. Vin Diesel, we hope you come back for Triple X or something else, because I don't know if this movie was beneath you, but you carried it, but at the same exact time, should you have been, you know? Anyway, I'm out. Excalibur's out, or actually, where's Kirito's sword name? Whatever. It's better than the last Witcher sword. Peace!